Get that right?
I
Are
feel
we
like you
both
didn't
right?
ask a
So you
question.
didn't ask a question.
At this age?
That's
At
not
this
a
age,
That's
what
not a
do I have?
question.
question.
What is?
Do I just need to put a question mark behind it? Because I'll
Oh,
write it
At this,
again
you
and
but
put a question mark.
you said at this age, but then you kept writing, and
what was
you
there was
didn't
no
put
question.
yeah.
It is a
You said
You
question.
didn't
at this
say
age
will
when my
something. You
yeah.
didn't put at this age will blah blah blah. At this age blah blah blah. You just
You
So
put
said
at
hold
this
up.
at this
age.
age
Hold up.
when I am old and worn out.
And when my Lord is old and I am worn out. So
At this age, that sounds like a statement.
Right.
bear with me.
Not bear with me. It's too late. You
The
blocked me.
Lord
You can't
comes,
do it.
the Lord's, oh, Sarah overhears the Lord say, what is going on? XYZ is an XYZ Nation. We back for the final episode this year, season 4, episode 13. We made it through another one. Provided we get through this one, hey, the Lord can come at any time.
Okay.
I know that was a little extra, but we are glad that you're watching, glad that you're tuning in. Hopefully, you've hung out with us through all these seasons because this is a recap episode. And the title of this episode is Catch Ya on the Rebound. I was thinking, should have titled it like Audi 5000.
But
I
we're
got
not
a
Audi because we don't come back.
right. And that's why I was like, we're going to be back,
Yeah.
Lord willing. So here we go. We're going to do a quiz, which is always fun, and then do our little recap of each of the chapters, and then talk about some broad overall topics, 2 of them. All right. So I think there's something that we are supposed to do, and that something is to introduce ourselves. I am the latchkeyed one himself, the former X-Man repping Gen X, all up in the area, Chris. And at the far end, we have
I am Maya, the resident millennial,
dun, 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 dun,
and together we are
generational scriptures
And we have our final guest of
of
this
the
season,
season.
Miss Wanda.
Hello.
Woohoo!
You guys know her already, so no extra special introductions.
Nope, not
She
necessary.
said you guys know her already, so
Enough.
she's Chris' wife. That's it.
I mean, you ain't want to say that.
That's
Why
That's
not?
the
we
meet
said that
Wanda.
last time though.
That's
So
the truth.
they know her.
Yeah.
Jeez.
She does a lot of things.
I mean, she should be telling us all of these things that she does.
She doesn't want to do them for people, so she shouldn't be telling us. So we don't need people being like, "Oh yeah, she does that. Let me get her info." No,
No.
This is like, nope.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you for being with us. Even if you won't give us a Meet Wanda segment, you have Moyo do all your talking, but that's fine. That's fine. Because what we have up next is one of our favorite segments. It is the Alright So Boom, where we go over the last chapter that we went through on the podcast in the previous episode.
Yes. So, my bad.
All
All right. So, chapter 23, we have Sarah's death. Sarah's 127 years old, and she dies in Kiryat Abra, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham mourns for his wife, as we would expect him to, weeps for her.
Mm-hmm.
But then he has to figure out, what am I going to do with the body?
Right.
So he goes to the Hittites and he asks them, can I buy a place to bury he says my dead, but to bury his wife. And he like basically says like he's a foreigner. He just wants a place. Like he's being very respectful, coming to them and asking, knowing that this land is going to be his. I think we talked about that in that chapter. But as of right now, it's not his land. He's still a foreigner, sojourner here.
Right.
The Hittites are like, oh, Abraham, like we know you. You are like his reputation at this point is preceding him. They know who he is. They call him a mighty prince. Like he's very esteemed in this place. And they say nobody here is going to hold back their tombs or their property from you. Choose whatever you want.
Right.
And Abraham is like, oh, I want that cave in Machpelah, and that belongs to Ephron, the son of Zor. And they're like, okay. And Ephron is there, and he's like, oh yeah, you can have it. It's yours if you want it. You don't even have to pay me. You can have it.
Right.
And Abraham is like, I want to pay for the land. And the guy is like, what's 400, what was it? Shekels of silver between you and me. Like, that's nothing, pocket change. And we talked about in that chapter, like, how much that could potentially be worth. Right. So go back and watch if you want more details on that. But Abraham does not negotiate. He just gives them the money, which a lot of commentaries said would be surprising that he did not negotiate to go down, but he pays for it. Now this land is legally his in the sight of everybody that's there. He buys it. He weighs out the shekels. He gives it to him. They say that the land, the cave, all the trees, everything there now belongs to Abraham legally. He buries his wife, Sarah, and that's pretty much how it ends. They repeat that this land belongs to Abraham legally, and that's where we end.
Yeah, yeah. So with that said, Miss Wanda is going to be reading the questions. Myself and Moyle will write down our answers, and then we will reveal what they are.
Yes.
If there is a question that we are just like, okay, I need multiple choice, then that will be added, right? That'll be an option to provide to us so that we can give a good answer.
Yeah. And for those that want to do it, I think you're going to put the whole thing, right?
Yep.
With the multiple choice.
Yep. Yeah.
So you can get a little.
Yeah. You should see the question on the screen, and then we'll put the multiple choice and the answers in the show notes so that you can watch it, and then if you want, you can go back and compare your answers to what they should be based on what ChatGPT says.
Yeah.
We've had discrepancies before, but we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Right, ready.
Let's get it.
All right. In Genesis 12, what specific promise did God make to Abram concerning those who blessed or cursed him?
Ready?
Oh, you just wrote 2 words. That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They will
be blessed.
They will be blessed. Right. And blessings and curses.
Yes.
So God would bless those who bless Abram and curse those who curse him.
Sweet.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
See, that wasn't too bad.
Nope.
Ready?
Yep. Next.
When Abram entered Egypt in Genesis 12, what motivated him to say Sarai was his sister?
All right.
Fear of death.
Right. He feared Pharaoh would kill him for her sake.
Yep. Death by Pharaoh.
All right. Number 3. According to Genesis 13, what reason did Abram give Lot for separating their flocks?
I feel like I'm writing out.
All right.
I wrote, they are kin, so they shouldn't fight.
Ooh, that's probably the answer. I said the flocks are too big or too large.
That wasn't why he said they should separate. Well, let me not say. What's the answer?
This says the answer is the land could not support both of them.
I think my answer.
I also remember. I remember that because they were bickering.
Yeah, he said we shouldn't fight. We're kin. We can separate.
Yeah,
their herdsmen were bickering.
Yeah,
right?
their herdsmen were bickering.
Right, I remember that
because the land.
I'm not fighting me. Y'all fighting ChatGPT. Y'all can fight them all you want. No, but I think both of them are valid answers. So I really do.
What was in their multiple choice options?
Lot had quarreled with Abram's servants. God told Abram to move south, and Lot wanted to go to Sodom. And the answer, the land could not support both of them.
Yeah. So if we had done the multiple choice, that would have been the logical answer.
Yeah.
But I think if because they were kin were in that list too, then you would have to figure out which of those two And I think both of them are valid answers. So
Yeah, I would have wrote their herdsmen were bickering, were fighting or whatever. 'Cause,
Yeah, all of those are
Yeah.
actually correct. The
Mhm.
herdsmen were bickering.
Yep.
He said they were kin, so they should not fight over this.
Yep.
And the land, he said, you can go over there, I can go over here, we can split up.
Right.
Wherever you go, I will go the
the
opposite
opposite way.
direction.
Yep. So okay,
all
cool.
right. Ready?
Yes.
In Genesis 14, which king is identified as the king of Salem and priest of God Most High?
I can't spell.
Spelling is not a
Well, just put the first three letters if you can't spell his whole name.
I know the last part is wrong because I just wrote deck like how you spell it. Deck.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, no C,
Melchizedek.
no C.
Yeah,
Wait.
I put K. I think it's DEK, right?
it's Melchizedek.
Yeah.
C.
Melchizedek.
Okay.
Yeah. But cool.
Yes. Look at that.
Yep.
That was a semi-difficult one without multiple choice.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Until you said priest of the Most High. If you stopped at Salem, I would have been like, I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
All right. What did Abram give to Melchizedek in Genesis 14?
Said a tithe.
Yeah.
10%. See, we did the same thing. A
Yeah.
tenth.
Yeah, a tenth of everything.
Third.
In Genesis 15, what sign did God use to confirm his covenant with Abram?
Let's reveal.
I remember the name of the thing, but yeah.
Covenant.
Covenant. Well, yeah, covenant, but it was the walking through.
Yep.
I wrote walking, not walking with quotes,
Quotes,
for
right.
those that are listening, through the split animals.
Yeah.
As fire in a burning pot.
That's what I did. Going between cut animals as a pot and flame.
Yeah.
And I tried to put smoking in there, but the writing's too big.
A burning torch passing between pieces of animals.
Yes.
Cool.
In Genesis 16, why did Sarai give Hagar to Abram?
Jeez.
Had to explain her situation.
Are you ready? I just said for a child.
I said because she was barren and it had been 10 years.
Okay, that's valid. So what did ChatGPT or
To
what was it?
fulfill God's promise more quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we both got that.
What
So
was
hold up.
oh,
Let's think about that for a second. Because we had questions about whether Sarah knew about the covenant and the promise.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a little bit of angst with that
With
answer.
ChatGPT's answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't know that was her purpose.
Right.
We know that in their culture, having a child is important.
Right.
And at this point, we don't know how long they've been married. We do know they've been in the land of Canaan
right.
for 10 years.
Right.
So they were married before they got here.
Yep.
So it's a long time to
It's
have
been a minute. Yeah. And this started when Abram was 70, right? So he's 80 now. She's 70. Mm-hmm. So she's like, this is it for having children.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I completely agree with to fulfill the promise. Yeah. I think it was more her wanting a child thing.
Yeah.
So, okay. What do you think, Wanda?
I'm not sure. I think she wanted to hurry the process of having a child. And the context that I've always heard it is in the context that ChatGPT put it, where that she knew that a child was supposed to be born, and so she was trying to help it along. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that's the truth. It's just the context that I've always heard it in.
It's and so, hey, look, the quiz turns into a discussion, but also for the reason that me and Moyo aren't so thinking that it's about the promise is because it's not until 17 when the Lord even tells Abram that the child will be through Sarah, your wife. Because in 15, Abram brings up Eliezer, right? That's right. And then in chapter 17, since Ishmael is already here, he brings up, can this be done through Ishmael? And the Lord then comes back and says, no, Sarah is going to have I'm paraphrasing. The child of the promise.
I guess people are saying because she didn't know until later on that it was going to be through her, that maybe she knew they were supposed to have a child, blah blah blah. But for me, I think it's more the cultural part, just because of all the other everybody else in the Bible
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily have a promise, but they still want a child.
right. I mean, and that's what that time was about, having children to carry your line forward,
Yeah.
right? So, okay. Very good. Very good. Good discussion.
All right. What was the age of Abram when God changed his name to Abraham?
What was the age?
Yes.
Oh
How
my
old was
goodness.
Abram when God changed his name
Oh,
to Abraham?
come on. You know this one. You ready?
I guess. I said 90.
90. I said 99.
The answer is 99.
Oh, okay.
Because
He
remember,
turned 100 the next year when he had a
in
baby.
chapter 17, what we were just talking about, he says, this time next year,
Yeah.
you will have a child.
Yeah.
And child was born to Abraham at 100. So he was 99 when he told him.
In Genesis 17, what was the covenant sign that every male descendant of Abraham was to bear?
Circumcision.
I started off with a CU and I was like,
Wait a
it might
second.
be CI.
You were down in your spelling.
We don't know if the rest was right. I just got the second letter.
Oh, man.
In Genesis 18, what question did Sarah ask herself upon hearing she would have a son?
She asked a couple questions.
Yeah, that's what.
This was my favorite question.
I'll just write down a whole bunch of stuff. And hopefully something lands.
I'll explain mine after.
All right, you ready? I said, at this age, when I am old, no, at this age, when my Lord is old and I am worn out.
What's the question?
Huh?
What's your question? It
It
says,
says, what's the question?
yeah,
At
what
this-
My
question?
question is, will I have pleasure? Add all the stuff he said, and the question she asks is, will I have pleasure?
I remember that question.
You were
And I
probably
thought that
right.
was
But
funny.
ChatGPT probably is thinking, will I have a child at this age?
Shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this age. But I like what you put.
But that's what I remember most, because
I
I thought that was
gonna write
funny.
that too, but I was like, this was the favorite.
Yeah,
My favorite
yeah.
question.
Will I have pleasure? I like that. I like that.
I
Okay.
thought that was funny. All right, ready?
I know I got a lot to erase. Yes, I am ready.
When Abraham.
So wait, hold up. Did I get that right?
I
Are
feel
we
like you
both
didn't ask
right?
a
So
question.
you didn't ask a question.
At this age?
That's
At
not a
this
question.
That's not a question?
What is?
Do I just need to put a question mark behind it? Because I'll
Oh,
write it again
you-
and
but
put a question mark.
You said at this age, but then you kept writing, and
What was
you
the-
did. You didn't.
There was no question.
Yeah.
It is a
said
question.
You
at
didn't
this
say
age
will
when my-
something.
Yeah.
You didn't put at this age will blah blah blah. At this age blah blah blah. You just
So,
put
hold
at
up.
this
At this
age.
age,
Hold
when,
on.
when I am old and worn out.
And when my Lord is old and I am worn out. So
At this age, that sounds like a statement.
Bear with me.
Not bear with me. It's too late. You
The
blocked all
Lord
your
comes,
answers.
the Lord's, oh, Sarah overhears the Lord say, this was Genesis 17, right?
18.
Okay, 18. That makes more sense. The Sarah overhears the Lord say, this time next year, you will bear a child. And the question is, at this age?
Y'all let us know in the comments if that's how you heard his statement.
That's what I said.
We both said, "What's your question?"
Gosh. All right.
I
I got it wrong. That's fine.
wasn't keeping score, so
I am. We both missed one. No, I'm joking.
ChatGPT missed one.
All right, cool.
All right. When Abraham pleaded for Sodom, what was the lowest number of righteous people for which he asked the Lord to spare the city? Ready?
You ready? Oh, we said the same thing.
10.
10?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. That may have been the hardest one.
He should have went to 5, but he still would have failed.
He still would have, that's what I was thinking. He still would have failed.
Ready? What did Lot's wife do that led her to become a pillar of salt? Yep.
Look back.
She looked back at Sodom. Ready? In
Yep.
Genesis 20, What did Abimelech claim when God appeared to him in a dream about Sarah?
All right, ready? Yep. Did nothing wrong. He was innocent.
The answer is, I have not touched her.
I did not touch that.
Ah!
That's true.
That is true. So read the question again.
It says in Genesis 20, what did Abimelech claim when God appeared to him in a dream about Sarah?
Didn't he sort of claim both things?
Yeah, he basically said, would you like do this against someone who's innocent?
Right.
For I haven't touched her. And then God said, yeah, because I made you.
No,
not
I
do
told
it.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I guess the court sort of melded together in a sense.
Yeah.
The doing nothing wrong was him not touching her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
What was the name Abraham gave to the place where God provided the ram in place of Isaac?
Ooh,
All right.
I don't know. Bear something.
Is it that?
I don't know. Well, you wrote the Lord. I wrote the Lord will provide too, but it was actual word.
I want to say it was a word, but it wouldn't have been Bear.
It was Jehovah Jireh. The
So
Lord
what's
will
the name of the
provide.
place?
That's what they put
gotta look
as
this
the
one up.
answer. But they
All right.
do have Berla Heroi.
Hold on. Let me
No,
look it up.
that's not.
No.
That's
And
not.
then Bethel. Those were options in El Shaddai.
Yeah.
But they say the answer is Jehovah Jireh. The Lord will provide.
Yeah.
The name of the place, though.
All right. Hold on, folks. We'll be right back.
We're looking it up. It just says he will call the name of the place. The Lord will provide, as it is said to this day on the mount of the Lord. It shall be provided. So there is no name.
Oh,
It's
okay.
The Lord will
The
provide.
Lord will provide. Okay.
And Jehovah Jireh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
which is-
didn't read anything that said Jehovah Jireh.
Right. So
not-
that's guess they
not in
just
the
decided
English.
to
Yeah.
put that there. Okay.
Yeah, I think was it the place that Hagar, she also said the Lord sees me or something.
Yes.
He's like bear something.
Laharoi.
That's this.
That's the other one.
That I was just trying to read the name of.
Something. Yeah.
Bear. And
Well,
then,
that was one of the options in the
Yeah.
but it wasn't what they said was the answer.
Okay, so
Alright.
we got it right. The Lord will provide.
Yep.
There was no name to think of.
Yep.
We're thinking real hard about it.
I know.
Ready? According to Genesis 23, from whom did Abraham buy a cave of Machpelah for Sarah's burial?
I literally just
You
did
did.
just talked
What
about
was
it,
his
right?
name?
I'm going to spell his name wrong.
Um,
I'm going to try and get some extra credit.
I know his daddy name. What was his name?
She's trying to go back through her. All right. So
I
boom.
know,
segment.
it's just, we just did too much. I don't know why I know the dad's name, but not the son.
I don't
Okay,
know.
I'll just go with the daddy.
Ready? Afrin? Is that it?
It's a E.
It's Ephraim.
Ephraim.
Son
Ephraim
of Zohar.
Son of
Ephraim
Zohar.
the Hittite.
Yeah.
Ephraim the Hittite. So I was close.
You were a letter off.
I knew his daddy.
One letter off.
Son of Zohar.
And that was the last question.
No, cool. One thing I think that this shows is we actually have gone through and did a pretty good job of understanding each of the chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of these things, I don't think you just remember if you didn't go in and really look at them like we did.
Yeah.
Like how many people?
You know the son of Zohar?
So the son of Zohar. And there's so many other things I'm sure we could have fleshed out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but good job. I missed one. How many were there? Did it say?
15, I think.
Oh, that's still an A. So I'm not bad. I'm not going to say Moyo Miss Denny. She looks like she's not claiming that. So we're just going to let her
I'm not
be.
claiming anything because ChatGPT got some wrong. I got some partial credit.
Oh, man. All right. So this is the part where we get to go through these chapters and we don't have to be long. And some of this will just lead into more discussion. But just talk about one thing that stood out to you in each of the chapters that we went through this season. All right. And Wanda, you're going to participate with us in this, right?
I am.
Sweet. Sweet. So we're going to start off with chapter 12, which we titled Keep On Pushing.
Wait, why are we starting with 12? I thought we started this. Oh, we just went back to 11 to talk about something?
We went back to in the first episode. We went and did the all right, so boom, and we
Okay.
talked about 11 a little bit because that's where we're introduced to Abram
Okay.
and that he leaves and goes out to leaves the land of Ur, and they have this stop where his dad died, and then they move on from there. And then I think even in that episode, go back and check it out. We put the all right, so boom segment as the coming up portion, so that people would have that reference of what happened in chapter 11 as we get into chapter 12.
Okay.
So for chapter 12, keep on pushing. What we got? What we got? What we got?
So this is when the initial call to Abraham or Abram happens.
Yeah. Yep. So is that called that's what stands out to you?
No, I just want to give a refresher to,
Oh.
to where we
Okay.
are, because the title might not help any.
It helped me.
Oh.
That's what counts.
I think for that chapter, it was the thing I was stuck on was why Abram went to Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Because it happens and then it's kind of like brushed over. And then when the same exact situation happens again, he learned nothing the first time. Like, he just does it again.
It's the same
So,
thing.
yeah, that was what
Yeah.
stuck out to me.
I get that. What about you, Miss Wanda?
It was the fact that Abram at that point had so much faith that he would follow what God told him to do and leave his home and all.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets to Egypt and he halfway lies. I mean, she is his sister, but she's also his wife. So why? I don't understand how you have enough faith to get up and leave and walk away from everything you have, but not enough faith to tell the truth about this being your wife. So I trust God. I'm going to leave all my stuff, but I'm going to go tell this man a lie and not say that this is my wife, And I just think that's a little crazy.
Yeah, I can see that. I see both of those. I think the thing that stood out to me in this chapter is just the call and the blessings and the things that go along with the call, like the land. You'll be a great nation. I'll bless, right? One of the questions, I'll bless those who bless you, curse those who curse you. Through you, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. So that's the thing that sticks out to me, because I think that call is where everything starts, and you just see sort of echoes and look backs to that call as the Lord is continuing to move Abraham forward by encouraging him and also setting things up from the expectations that he'll have of his people. So next up, chapter 13. Now walk it out. I think I did that in the episode too.
This is a chapter about the dispute between Lot's herdsmen, Abram's herdsmen, and Lot choosing the land and God saying, walk around. And that's why he calls it now
Walk it out.
Walk around and all this will be yours.
Yes. Yep. So what you got, Wanda?
In this one, what stood out to me was that how much I thought Abraham loved Lot, that he gave him the option of where to move with his people first. That was very unselfish of him to allow Lot to choose and him to just, go with whatever Lot said.
I thought Abraham was crazy.
Well, I have mixed feelings about him, but in this instance, I thought he was unselfish.
I mean, the reason I say that is because Abram knows that the Lord has said you're going to have this land that I'm going to show you. Well, actually, let's walk that back. He knows he has a land, and I think he knows by now he's in Canaan, and that's the land that he's supposed to have, but he hasn't walked it out yet. Mm-hmm. Right? To your point. So maybe I should retract that. Maybe he's not crazy. Maybe, okay, I'll walk it back.
Jasmine mentioned it being like a bold move to let Lot go first.
Yeah.
When we were talking in that episode, she said something like, what if he picked your land?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I am. So maybe it's not crazy, but it's bold. But he didn't. So, hey, it is what it is.
Plus, the land wasn't going to be his right now anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
There's still a lot that has to happen. I mean, he doesn't know that yet, but
right.
later he finds
He
out.
finds out.
Yeah. And in having faith, he could just, if it was supposed to be his, he could just feel like it'll end up being his anyway. If
So
that's what's supposed to happen. So why
yeah,
not?
and this might get to our later question, but I think that's what you'll see. Times where it seems and looks like Abraham just has so much faith, and then times where it seems like he doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, gives you 6, 7, this push and pull of what happens.
I bet that.
I think it's just ridiculous.
This is the second time he said that on our podcast.
And our nieces have told him time and time
That's
again,
how you
don't
use
say it. Stop it.
It don't mean nothing. You can use it however you want.
I don't know.
6, 7 don't mean nothing.
You know, there's a
Hold
side
on.
of there's
Doesn't
a side
mean
of social
anything.
media that thinks it means something like demonic.
Are you just saying that
I'm
to
not
get me to
just saying
stop?
that. I'm not.
See, somebody was like, watch this. It's demonic,
I'm
Chris.
not, I don't believe that it is, but you know, they turn anything into a demonic thing.
They do. So, okay, I will stop doing it.
For those that are out there that might feel
that
that
might
way,
think that it
it's
is
like, ooh, they do that thing.
Hey, I'll stop wearing hats in the podcast as well.
I mean, what's their scripture about just doing the stuff to help the other people?
There is. It's in 1 Corinthians. Yep.
Yeah. Help the people.
Yeah. I try. I try. All right. So, so did you go yet, Moya?
No. I think what stuck out to me, and it was mainly because I talked about it later on, was Lot settling near Sodom, not in Sodom. So that now looking back,
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was I like that, how you pulled that together. That was good, from him settling there to where we see him later.
Yeah.
And sort of that progression.
Yeah.
I think to me what stood out was what stood out to me was when Lot looked at the land and what he saw, and how the representation of it sort of pulled us back to Eden. And right, the garden of the Lord, it says, and it was like Egypt, which we understand Egypt to be the breadbasket of the ancient Near East, because everything there was so plush and they had an abundance of a bunch of stuff. And we found that out in our first season looking through Joseph. Right, so go back, check that out. But those references to the place that Lot picks and how good it looks, while all the while being behind it, you get the idea that, and we're told that Sodom is wicked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think even when you talked about the seeing before in Joseph, when we went over Joseph, you mentioned seeing a lot there too. Like, oh, they saw this. Oh, they showed their dad this. Oh, you know, Pharaoh's wife saw this. So there was a constant, the eye being, even in the garden, Eve sees the fruit first before she does anything else. So I think that's something to think about as we go through other chapters as well. Like, what are the things that we see or the people see that then, and how does that impact what they do or how things turn out?
Yeah, that's good. Because what popped in my head is, for we walk by faith and not by sight. So I wonder how much we can sort of say all of this seeing, particularly seeing where people went awry, versus the faith that they have.
Yeah, I guess most of the time where it's something they see, it hasn't been good yet.
Yeah, not in most cases. I agree. All right, cool. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Chapter 14. That's one of my favorite titles this year, Cotton Eye Joe. I don't know why that popped in my head. Actually, I do know why. So from chapter 14, I'll start this time. What stands out to me in chapter 14, actually, do you want to give sort of like what it's about?
It's the 4 kings versus the 5 kings, and them being the 4 kings getting defeated initially, capturing Sodom. So King Che and his group captured Sodom, Lot included. Someone lets Abraham know. Abraham goes, defeats them. We have Melchizedek in that.
Right.
And then we have Abraham saying he's not going to take anything from the king of Sodom after he saves them.
Yeah. Yep. I think for me, what stood out was as much as Melchizedek does stand out because I understand what he means going forward in scripture, but just the historical nature of a vassal kingdoms and a king and how all of that played out into what ultimately catches Lot up in all of this, you know, all of these shenanigans, all this upheaval, uprisings, right? Because we really see that this is how kingdoms operated at that time. And then we sort of contrast that with Abraham or Abram at the time. And, well, he's not to that level yet, but the Lord keeps telling him he's going to be, right? So I think that's one of the things that stands out to me from that chapter. What you got, Moyo?
I just really like that we saw that Abram was like that.
Yeah.
Like he was that guy.
I knew you were going to say that.
He was.
Yeah.
I don't think I have read it
Right.
because you read the Bible through the year, but I never understood it until we did the study, and I'm like, Father Abraham, like, what? That's what you was doing? Like, okay, I look at him a little different now. So now when we go through and people are giving him this respect and giving him high praise, it's like, oh, I get it. Like, it's not just Father Abraham and he's blessed by God and all of these things. There's also there's things that he did that also give him extra street cred.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
In today's terms, it would be street cred. It's like, oh, he really about that life. He
Yeah.
really liked that.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. I figured you would say that after some of the things you said during the podcast.
Yeah. I feel like that was like maybe my favorite thing. Is that one of the questions you asked? That was our favorite thing to learn.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when we go through the chapters we've been going through are things I've read, been taught, but I'd never been taught that. So that was new to me.
Okay. All right. Wanda, what you got for chapter 14?
So I thought that this was, Abraham showing his love for Lot again, that he would be willing to, just as his man and his people, his servants, those, raised in his household, basically, or whatever,
Yeah.
that he would be willing to go up against a king, like to get Lot back. I thought that was just crazy,
Yeah.
and that God showed his favor, that he actually allowed him to defeat this king when there had been other kings and like multiple kings fighting this person or fighting this one entity, and they lost.
Yeah.
But Abraham, not a king,
Mm-hmm.
not a kingdom, not soldiers, just his regular servants or whatever they were for him, were able to defeat him. So I just thought that was God's favor and that he was bold. And he really loved his nephew to go do that.
Abram was like, all right, 318, let's go get him. Let's roll out.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that I want to point out, because all of this sort of points to it, is Melchizedek reaffirms the favor that the Lord has on Abram, because he tells him that the Lord, and I'm paraphrasing here, won this battle for him.
Yeah.
Right. And actually, I think it's the Lord Almighty that we get a name for the Lord here. No, Most High God, excuse me. God Most High actually won this battle for him. So I think it would be good to point that out, because Abram is not moving in all of this in his own strength. It's the Lord working and doing things on his behalf as well. All right.
before you move
Oh,
on,
go
I
ahead.
want to just say, if you have not watched chapter 14, watch it, because Chris gives a good summary or like description of who Melchizedek is and how he represents Jesus.
Yeah.
And that was also something I learned in that chapter. So,
You're
go back.
too kind. You're too kind.
Anyways, we can move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, go back. Definitely go back.
Yeah, and not being funny, but that is important
Yeah.
because we don't get, I may have said this, a lot of information about because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he plays a huge role when you go, it's particularly in Hebrews, and Hebrews is all about telling us that Christ is better, and Melchizedek is brought up, right, for a very specific reason. So,
Yeah.
Melchizedek is an important figure, even though we don't have a lot of data on him. Anything else on chapter 14?
No.
Cotton Eye Joe. Next up, chapter 15. And I'm not going to attempt to sing this because it's way too high. How will I know?
Okay, so God reassures Abram. We talk about his heir. That's when he was called righteous.
Yes.
But then he immediately is like, how will I know that I'll get the land? He believes in that God is going to give him the son. He has some hesitation about the land. God does the covenant ritual passing through, which was part of the quiz. And yeah, he gets the kind of like prophecy of his future children being in slavery and all this other
That's a
stuff.
good one. Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
But they will eventually get out and get this land.
Get the land.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's also where we had the discussion about Abraham believing for his offspring versus him believing the land. And I've always looked at it as one cohesive thing that the Lord is promising that if I'm going to give you land and give you offspring, then you're going to have land to follow. I think you looked at it a little different as two separate entities.
Yeah.
That are
I
that are
looked
there.
at it as, okay, you're going to give me the offspring, but where are they going to be?
Right.
And yeah, I don't know that one way matters. Like
No.
you can look at it either way and you still get to the main point. The main point is he's going to have both because that's what God promised
Right.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. All right. So, how will I know? Chapter 15.
I was very confident in God being the one doing the covenant, right? So it's based only on God in this chapter.
Yes.
And then later on, we have the other things that Abram and Abraham are supposed to do. And then there was a little bit of, well, is it God or is it
Right.
everybody has parts to play? And at the end, we said it's God. Like whether they do it or don't do it, the covenant will still be kept because God made this covenant in this chapter 15.
Yeah. 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 And that was hard for me as well because the call, which is a promise, to the covenant, which is still the promise in my mind, to the, we haven't gotten to chapter 17 yet, but to the sign that's in chapter 17, to the Akedah that happens in chapter 22. It's like all of these things seem to be adding on to what God promised. And I think, I'm like you, I've just come away with that. God made this promise and he's definitely going to see it through. There are expectations that the Lord is going to have for those who are following him to be blameless. And if Abraham had not done those, then just as Abraham was like, somehow the Lord, I'm getting ahead, somehow the Lord is going to raise up Isaac, somehow the Lord is still going to carry out this covenant.
Yeah.
He's still going to have a people that come from Abraham, whether it's generations down the line or Abraham himself, who will be blameless, who will do all the things, even if it's not Abraham.
Yeah.
So I think that's sort of, we're falling in the same area, it sounds like.
And we see that throughout the Old Testament of them like not always meeting the expectation,
Right.
but God is still going to use them.
Right. Right. Which is huge.
I guess New Testament too, but
yeah, I mean, because people are people.
Yeah.
Right. It's a little different now, and I think we talked about this when we were with Cheryl, because now we've got a helper.
Mm-hmm.
Right. in the Holy Spirit who indwells us. They didn't have that helper per se, but they would still get grace and power from the Lord and the ability to accomplish things. Right. So it's not the same. So yeah, thanks again, Cheryl, for that word dispensation that now we have to bring up and talk about. All right. So what did you have on chapter 15, Miss Wanda?
Oh. So I think I was still a little bit it's still a little bit off to me that Abraham still was a little bit doubting, because all the things that God had done for him through this whole time, like letting him rescue Lot
Oh,
and
okay.
just like, all the things. Um and I thought that, God's commitment to this covenant was very obvious, that he would even, show him the prophecy
Yeah.
of his legacy to like reaffirm, here's what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this gets into like we're gonna spend way too much time here, but I think it's worth it, right? This gets into the miraculousness that the Lord is going to do with Abram, who we talked about this. We not debate's not the right word, but we talked about this. Is Abram really too old to have children? I don't think the issue is Abram, but I think the issue at this point is Sarai, right? And her age and where she is and the ability to bear children. So to Abram, this looks like an impossible thing that's going to happen based on the way things work in the world without intervening from God to cause a miracle. So I think that's one of the things where for Abram, it's like, really? You told me this when I left. You're telling me this years later, and I just keep getting older, right? My wife keeps getting older, but you keep telling me I'm gonna have a kid. So it's like I kind of understand where he is, but I also understand that the Lord said it. We have to believe in. I think that's the tension that exists in a lot of these chapters. Does that make sense? Agree, disagree?
Yeah.
Add anything to it? Yeah. So that's a good point, and I think that tension is there, and I think it's meant to be palpable. It's meant to be felt and understood because it's the same tension we go through now.
Yeah.
Right? The Lord said that this is what I'm doing. I'm with you until the end of the age. But there are some days where you're like, Lord, I don't think you're with me. Well, he promised that he would be. How you feel at the time is irrelevant because this is what he said. So there's some tension that's going on there. So, all right. Chapter 15 for me, I think the biggest thing there is the fact that Abram was called righteous. And the reason that he was called righteous is because he believed the Lord and it was counted to him as righteousness. So it's not anything that Abram did. It's not who Abram was. Is that Abram believed God to whatever extent, because you just brought up the how will I know when we talked about tension, but that belief is what was needed for the Lord to count him as righteous. I think that's also big for me because I've often wondered when you go back and you talk about Noah being righteous. We don't get anything explicit that says Noah believed. I think we get it in his action and the fact that he built the ark over such a long time. But the fact that Noah is righteous has got to deal with the fact that he believed. And even now, how are any of us righteous? It's because we believed. In our case, we believed in Jesus Christ. In their case, they believed in Jesus Christ too, but just in the sense of he is God, of the Lord, of him being part of that Godhead. So that's the big thing that stands out to me from chapter 15. All right. Chapter 16. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Sometimes feel like somebody's watching me. One of the two.
Sometimes I feel like somebody's watching me.
Mm-hmm.
She's telling me I'm wrong with my lyrics.
Well, the song is I Always Feel Like.
Take that up with Moya.
But the Well, you said the song is like the title, or
No, there's a song. I always feel like somebody's watching me.
She knows the song.
I don't think y'all know the words.
Really?
We could
Is
Google
it sometimes? I thought it was
Sometimes I feel like somebody's
Go ahead,
watching
Mario.
me. Okay, now say I always. and say-
I thought it was
feel like somebody's watching me.
You always feel like somebody's watching you.
Yeah,
That's a little
that's what I
extreme.
thought I said.
I think it's always.
It could be.
We'll have to look up the lyrics.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to say it this time. My fellow Gen Xer had my back.
Maybe the Gen Xer have a different version of the song.
Or maybe, I don't know. No, it is the same song.
It might not
Because
be.
it was a Halloween song, right? They play it on Halloween often, I think.
They play, yeah, they play it on
It
Halloween.
could be one of
just
those.
'cause.
What's that thing
Yeah.
where people remember things different? It's like the can always look like this to somebody, but then they post it and it looks completely different.
Oh, you mean like the different colors or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that. There's a whole thing about
Yeah.
it. So like it could be a generational thing. You
Could be.
remember it this way. Y'all's could be right because the song probably came out in your generation.
It did.
Exactly.
We were in our, 20s?
No, we younger than that.
Really?
Yeah. We old, homie. I hate to break it to you.
I thought it came out
Well,
when we were
I'm
in our
old.
20s.
You're not old.
I'm older than you.
I'm trying to be good.
I think it came out when we were in college, honestly.
I thought it was sooner. But anyway.
Well, young, maybe maybe we were late teens, early 20s.
think
That
it
might
was-
have been it. Probably late
I
teens.
think I was in high school. When
Really? Okay. I didn't think so.
But anyway.
I think you
it
were
could be a generational
18,
thing,
19.
because I think my kids sing some songs with different words, and I'm like,
That's
that's
not
not
how it
how
goes.
that song goes.
Cool.
All right, but
What you got?
what was that chapter?
Chapter 16.
16.
Somebody's watching me.
So Sarah gives Hagar to Abraham as his wife. She gets pregnant. They have beef.
Mhm.
She leaves, but then the angel of the Lord tells her to go back, and
Uh-huh.
Ishmael is born.
Yep.
Abram is 86. They should have asked us how old he was when Ishmael was born, because we wouldn't have got that right.
Probably not. I was.
Actually, would I have been able to do the math?
I think I might have.
I don't know. Because I know he was 13 when they got circumcised.
Yeah.
But I don't think I knew how old. 13 plus 86.
This is 99.
But I got 99 wrong. So
And I didn't think of it. I got 99 because I knew that Isaac was born when Abram was 100.
Yeah.
And he was told a year ahead of time. This time next year, you will have.
Yeah.
a
And I
child.
didn't remember that he was told that at the same time of his name change. Right? Is that what we're
Yep.
saying? Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. So, all good stuff. All good stuff. So, what stands out to you, Miss Wanda?
I guess, I don't know. The fact that Sarah would offer Hagar, to her husband, just like so much, like, and still me with the mindset of her knowing, like her doing this to, push forward this, the promise. That's sort of, because that's the perspective that I came from. That I came from the perspective that I thought she knew, that she was aware somehow. And so, the fact that it was like, well, let's help this along. This is not going to work for me because I'm too old, but here's an option to help this along.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of where I came from, and how helping God is not a good idea. It really didn't work out to her advantage. It just made things way more complicated, way more difficult, and more difficult for her. Because I don't know that Abraham was suffering so much, but her and Hagar were the ones,
Mm-hmm.
having the
The
problems.
issues. Cool.
And more her, I felt like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not more her, because Hagar was definitely suffering, because what was done was, in modern day, definitely not right. But just, I think, probably the psychological effects of it all on Sarah as well, because Hagar is suffering for one reason and Sarah is suffering for another reason, because she's watching this woman probably carry her husband's child, and that's and a child that she can't have at this
Mhm.
point.
Yeah.
So there was all of that.
And she was kind of gloating and
Right.
showboating about it. It wasn't that because she could have carried the child humbly.
Right.
She was not humble about it. She was like, "Ooh, I can
I'm
do what you
pregnant, you
can't do."
ain't. Right.
That whole mess, and then Hagar like running away, like all of that. Like it's just so much. Because there's like, on the one hand, Hagar definitely was done, a disservice. This was wrong. And then on the other hand, she gets to gloat, and then she gets to be hurt by Sarah being mean back, right?
Yeah.
So now she runs off. So it was the whole thing.
I think for me, what stood out was the fact that Hagar could be off similar. It's going to be similar to what you said, Wanda. That Hagar, and it's clearly a sign of the times, could be offered up so easily to get this thing accomplished. And then, just as you also said, with the idea that they were somehow helping. Well, no, that's what's interesting to me about it. That it's not Abram, as you said, going to say, "Hey, I want to do this." It's Sarai saying, "Hey, this is this is this is what I want you to do to give us a child." And I think when in the episode, one of the things I said was how, and this has come up before. I think even when Cheryl was on, we had a little thing where, all right, Chris, get on Abram because you didn't give him a pass with this. And I think the reason that I feel so strongly about this is because it reminds me of what happened in the garden, where Abram sat idly by and just went with the flow of things, much like Adam did, right? She gave, he took. So I think it took me a while after that episode to be like, why are you that way, Chris? Why do you feel so strongly about this? And I think it's because one, the circumstances that it's happening in, where Abram is, I know it's not adultery in the sense that we understand it today, but to me it still feels like adultery, one. And then two, the fact that it just reminds me of Adam. I think that's why I get a little antsy, a little extra energy about this chapter, this passage, especially the beginning. That's my biggest takeaway.
My biggest takeaway was Sarah saying, "May the wrong done to me be on you, and let God judge between the two of us." After we just said, like both of you said, it was her idea. He listened, and she's like, "Yeah, you shouldn't have listened." Like, so yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like she must have felt, I don't know, like to say that means there is still some understanding that Abram should have spoken up.
Yeah. When you say that now, it does sort of come off that way, right?
Yeah. Because if I'm gonna say God judge between us, I gotta know that I'm right
You
to some degree. Like,
either that or you just don't care.
yeah.
But yeah, that when you say that after talking through it, that does sound like yeah, you knew better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
I also like that Hagar wasn't forgotten in all of this.
Mhm.
Yeah,
She did have to go back, but she got her own promise.
yes.
Right.
And she felt seen by God,
Yeah.
even with everything that was going on.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And that's huge because I think even in the episode we talked about, we keep bringing up all the stuff we did in episodes. Y'all need to go back and watch the episode because we're getting even more detail about it. But in the episode, we talked about why did the Lord have her to go back?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a struggle because she's a slave, and we think, particularly in America, slave freedom, get it at any cost. And the Lord is sending her back. And we talked about, like, is it because of protection? Is it because he doesn't want her out there all alone? Is it because she's going to have Abram's child, and that child through Abram is going to be blessed? So why is he sending her back? And I think one of the places I settled is, regardless of what the reason is, I just have to trust that the Lord is good, right, and just, and that he's doing this for a good, right, just reason that I may not see.
I think looking big picture, now that we finish this section,
Mm-hmm.
I am thinking, is it related to the circumcision in that covenant?
Could be.
Because right after that, they get kicked out anyway.
Yeah.
So
Could be. And
she
that's
could have left here and just
Ooh.
been free, but she had to go back in order for her son to be a part of that covenant.
all right. Next up, chapter 17. Cut Me Mick. That episode is hilarious to me because I brought up in that episode where this reference comes from. And Moyo and Jasmine were looking at the camera because we did this virtually. Like, ew, what are you talking about, Chris? And I thought it was funny. Go back and watch the episode.
Mm. Yep.
All right, so what stands out in chapters? Oh, did you want to give the recap real quick?
17, we have the name change.
Yes.
Covenant repeated, as it's been a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Circumcision is introduced. Everyone does it. Sarah is told this time that, or Abraham is told this time that Sarah will be the one that has the child that
Right.
the covenant is through.
Right.
But Abraham, still is concerned about Ishmael,
Mm-hmm.
and he is told about the promise on Ishmael
Yes.
as well.
Yep.
And everybody gets circumcised.
Yep.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Well, all the men.
Yeah, well, true. Everybody that should have been or could have been
Yeah.
was. All right, what you got, Moyo?
I think in that chapter I talked about how everyone did it, and that
Mhm.
was surprising to me that everybody did it. Like
Yeah.
no one opted out. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. And they're all different ages.
Yeah.
Abraham at this time, right? 17, did it.
Yeah.
And they make a point of saying he was 99, or I think they did say he was 99 in that chapter, actually. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Yeah. 13's too old. But anyway. All right, what you got, Miss Wanda?
Not much for this chapter. I mean, just the same things that she just talked about, like their names being changed. Abraham's name meaning like father of many nations, and
Mm.
and then when I was listening to something else, I was saying like Sarah's name means princess, mother of kings, um, and just the circumcision being a sign of the covenant
Mhm.
between them and God, and I mean, and also like you're thinking, good Lord, that's a lot of pain for these grown-ups
It's
to
gross.
bear. I mean, and I don't know. And I was also thinking like, and how do they treat this? Because this is a whole procedure to have. I mean, I was thinking about the weird things, because the whole thing just sounded awful to me. And I know this is not what I was supposed to take from it, but that's what I took. It was painful, awful, and how did they treat these? Because this is a lot.
Yeah. I think what I took from this was the Lord, after all the other things that have been done, coming back the third time to talk about, what he's going to do. And I sort of alluded to this earlier. The fact that he's calling Abraham, now his name has changed, to be blameless. I mean, and I wrestled with that. I struggle with that a little bit because that seems to sort of get into, am I doing something for the covenant? But I think, as I said earlier, the idea that you are to be blameless just means that you get to have an audience with the Lord. There's a standard that we are expected to live up to. Even in the New Testament, we are to walk worthy of the calling, worthy of the manner of the calling of which we have received. So when you get saved, the idea isn't that you just go off and do all these things, like be an antinomianism type person, no law, right? No, that's not the right way to say it, because I don't want to get into law and is still enacted versus it's not. There's a law of Christ now. There's the law of love and those types of things that we have now. But it doesn't mean I can go and just live a debaucherous life now because I'm saved. There's still something called for you to be if you are a believer. And I don't think that has changed.
Mm.
So that's how I had to reconcile when he says be blameless. It's not that he's calling him to do something because the Lord's doing something for him. He's called to be like this because he is going to be before the Lord, because he's considered righteous.
Yeah.
Righteousness means I live a certain way. And that's the case for us now. So that's my big takeaway. That's my big takeaway. Chapter 18. I also like this title. 3 is the magic number. I wanted to put like 3 is magic number, the little Schoolhouse Rock thing in, but I thought they might flag us and take it down, so I didn't.
I think as long as it's less than 10 seconds, they don't.
Okay, I might put it in.
That's what I hear when I would listen to other people's stuff, because they'll cut it off like, I'm about to be at 10 seconds.
So 3 is the magic number.
All right, so we have the 3 men who visit Abraham. They repeat the promise. Sarah overhears, she laughs in disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
God reveals his plan to judge Sodom
Yes.
and Gomorrah, and Abraham tries to intercede on their behalf. He
Mhm.
tries his best.
He does what he can do.
Starts at, I think, 40,
Was it 50?
50, and then goes all the way down to 10.
Yep.
And you couldn't even find 10.
Nope.
Well, I guess that wasn't in this chapter. The next chapter, you
Yeah.
couldn't find them.
But stood out to me in this chapter. What stood out to me in this chapter is the negotiation.
Mm.
And not just the negotiation, but this theme that we see running from here, I think, all the way to the end of the chapter, as to what that negotiation rests on. It rests on the character of the Lord. Because the questions are, would you, right, the judge of all the earth, right, like, because of who you are, being righteous, being just, being the Lord who knows all and cares and loves his people, the righteous. If you find 50, would you destroy? And he's continually going back and leaning on that character, leaning on who the Lord is. Say, because of who you are, would you do this? So that's what sticks out to me. Maria, what you got?
I think in that chapter we talked a lot about the hospitality that Abraham showed, and then also I don't know what word I'm thinking of, but when God is saying, or when the Lord is saying, should I let him know, like the importance of Abraham as a character in this story, in salvation in general, like that whole process, how God is going to save the people through him, how it just makes him feel extra important. Like we know he's important, but the fact that he's going to tell him his plans. He's told him prophecy before about what's going to come of his people. Like there's a lot that Abraham knows.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yet and still, he's still a human being.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. I like that. Cool. What you got one?
Well, I also around in that same vein, like that the Lord thought enough of Abraham to even have an audience with him to negotiate. Like, who negotiates with God? Like, he's telling you what he plans to do, and you're like, well, would you consider this? And then continue, and he says, like, and the Lord's willing to consider it. Okay, well, you'll go there. Well, would you consider this?
Right.
So, like, almost bartering with the Lord. Like, who does that? But I just thought that was like really interesting, and it spoke to the relationship that the Lord had with Abraham. That he could do that, that he could even feel comfortable enough to ask God to consider something else, to change his plan. So I just thought that was interesting. And then I also thought, it also to me showed God's patience with like Sarah, and her laughing and whatnot. Because it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I know anybody who laughed if God said something, even if you had a little bit of a doubt about it, but would you laugh?
But
I think that's a little
Abraham,
disrespectful. Yeah, well, it's just disrespectful.
He did laugh.
It's just
Exactly.
disrespectful. But God had a lot of patience with these people,
Mhm.
because even saying that he still would still consider Abraham in high enough regard that he would like do the negotiations and stuff, even with his faith being strong, but still sometimes doubting, that the promise and stuff. So
yeah.
I just thought that was their relationship is I don't know, it's not dynamic, but their relationship to me is maybe multifaceted is how I look at it, because there's a little bit of the doubt here or whatever, and the Lord reassuring and but the Lord also feeling um or thinking highly enough of Abraham to have these conversations, to show him the prophecy, to keep reassuring him, and to even negotiate with him on his plan, or to, consider what he's saying
Yeah.
instead of just shutting it down and saying, I'm the Lord, they're wicked, this is my plan, and that's it.
It makes me think about the last chapter 23, where he does not negotiate
Yeah.
for the land, and maybe that's why people put so much emphasis in the commentaries about the fact that he didn't negotiate, because he negotiates with God, but he just pays the people
Yeah.
with no negotiation.
Yeah. All right. Anything else there? Chapter 19. It's raining sulfur and fire.
Yeah. So two angels get to Sodom. Lot welcomes them at the gate. He tells them, "Hey, come to my house." They're like, "No, we're gonna stay here." And he's like, "No, no, 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 come to my house." And a lot of things happen. The men of Sodom try to
No.
know the angels, and Lot tries to intervene. The
Yep.
angels step in, strike the people with blindness, and basically tell Lot and his family, like, you guys got to get out of here. We're destroying this place. And they flee. Well, the angels drag them out of the town.
Thank you.
Drag them out of the town. They go to a nearby town after Lot kind of negotiates that. But his wife looks back. She turns into a pillar of salt. His daughters are now, I think it's the end of the world. Ain't no men left. So they conceive by their daddy. And we have Moab and we have Ammon.
The Ammonites. Whew. This is one of the craziest chapters of all that we've done so far. I mean, okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what is your big takeaway from that chapter, Moyo?
I think I said it in that chapter, was the progression from Lot's. We started off with him near Sodom.
Yep.
He then is in Sodom when they get captured. And now, even after the capturing and the saving, he's living and has a home in Sodom still.
Right.
Someone in church, they were like, well, he said something like, Lot knew what he was doing being there, and there's like a whole thing about people feeling like Lot was a part of it. And I was like, that's not biblical, because there is a part in the Bible where they say that Lot was righteous and that he was tortured, quote unquote, by the things that were happening in this city.
Right.
So I did have to say, wait a minute, hold, not too much on my man Lot. Like, yes, he was there, but he wasn't partaking in the things.
Yeah.
But it is, if you were looking at it just as we were talking about the progression, you would think that I could see why people think that.
Yeah.
Because he was there.
He was there.
And his comebacks and his like things to try to help weren't that great either. Like, take my daughters. That's not the right answer either.
That's not the right answer. Yeah, indeed. It's like, they've known no men. Take them instead. I'm like, bro, what's going on? Like,
I think I said that he wasn't able to convince anyone, but neither was Noah.
right.
Noah was not able to convince anyone to join
Right.
him and, build this ark. God is coming to destroy you. So
Ooh.
the places were just so wicked that no matter if I'm righteous and I'm living here and I'm trying, I could do anything. You guys don't care.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good. That was good. I like that connection between Noah.
Yeah, because I was judging him
Sodom.
a little bit when we were like, you can't get 10, but Noah didn't get anyone either.
No, he didn't. It was just him and his sons and his son's wife. Him, his wife, his sons, and their wives. 8 people in total. Oh, that was good. All right, Miss Wanda.
I thought that this sort of showed like some bravery from Lot. It showed his generosity,
Mm-hmm.
that he was willing to an extent, put himself in danger to protect the angels. Um, Also, crazy enough that he would,
diabolical right there.
but
Protect
also
the angels.
right, but you know to
I know what you mean. It's just crazy to say.
but that he would offer his daughters. I don't know. Somehow, I just feel like, and this is a lot, but I feel like they did not necessarily value the women in their lives at all.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Neither him nor no, and I'm not being funny. I just don't. And that's because you offer your daughters, like you offer yourself before you offer your daughters. That's crazy. And then, and even going back to Abram, allowing Pharaoh and going ahead, allowing the other two to think that that's his sister. So you are okay with this man thinking that he can be with your wife?
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I don't know. But at any rate, I think Lot was very, generous to try to go out, or sort of brave to kind of stand up against this crowd um, to try to save the angels, even though I don't agree with how he necessarily went about it in a sense.
I've tried this season to protect Abraham from this idea that he doesn't care about the women in his life.
He don't care about Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
In that sense.
I would say, and Miss Wanda also brought up the fact that you said he loves Lot like 3 times already. She has not yet once said, and he loves Sarah. And this is her not even being with us as we have been recording. He loved Lot and his son Ishmael and his son Isaac. He wept for his wife though.
I got one final retort that's going to come up later, but I have nothing to. All right, so next, what stood out to me in chapter 19? We are on this big "We Love Lot" train, and I agree, but Lot was a pain in the neck. I got to drag you out of this place that I'm getting ready to destroy. Like, what are you tarrying for? What are you delaying for? I told you to go. Leave.
Lot has no home.
And then go to the caves. Go here. I was like, no, I don't want to go there. I'm gonna go to Zoar. Zoar was probably supposed to be destroyed too as one of the cities in the valley. But you want to go there instead of where I tell you. Only to end up where I told you to go initially. Okay, that's
He's
it.
a negotiator. Plus, he had no home. I talked about in the episode that he got daddy issues.
He might.
So go back and watch because I think when we were talking about it, as we talked through it, it just kept weighing on me more that, again, these are just people.
Yes.
And he's been through a lot.
I agree.
As just in his
just
life.
as a person, right?
His dad dies. His grandfather dies.
Yeah.
His uncle says leave. Like, he has no home. So it's like, why does he keep going back to Sodom? Because it feels like home to him. This is where he's been. He's settled here.
Yeah, maybe.
And you're saying leave, and he's like, to go where? Where do you want me to go?
That's interesting. Because you could almost compare that to Abram at the time when Abram was told to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But when Abram was told to leave, if we're going all the way back, the call was given to Abram to leave, but his father and his brother, who eventually dies, are actually leaving with him. And then it's after that happens, after his father dies, that he picks up and carries on. Sort of to resume the call, his response to the call, so to speak.
And he's leaving with a promise.
Yeah.
Lot is being told to leave. Just leave.
Just leave. I get it. But somebody come, what's the thing? And we talked about it. If you see a bunch of black folk running and you stop to ask, like, nah, what's going on? I don't want to run that way. I want to run the other way. Your black card might get revoked. We don't. Rarely does someone see a bunch of people running in one direction and they're all like, "Huh, I wonder what's going on." No, you start running too.
Yeah.
This place is going to be destroyed. You need to go. But I don't. What are you waiting for? I'm going to take you by the hand outside of the city and tell you where to go. But I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
And it does say in that passage, go back and read it, that the Lord had mercy on him. I don't know. That's what stood out to me. I get the Lot Love Fest. I know that he is kind of righteous, and I don't disagree with the Lot Love Fest. But let's not make it hard on ourselves. If we get the chance to listen, and we've said it before, and you've just reiterated, they're people, we're people. We really don't know how we're going to act until we're in the situation.
That's true.
But I hope.
Well, I know I wouldn't have offered my daughter to anybody. That I know for sure, 100%.
I don't think I would have done that either.
That's a bit much.
But I hope that if that situation arises, that I am not one that's being slow, being difficult to deal with and manage.
Right.
That's my hope.
Right.
All right. Chapter 20. Give her back. And the reason I did that title, because I don't know if you remember, it was a movie with Mel Gibson. I think it was like Kidnapped or Hostage or something like that. And he yells in the phone, "Give me back my son." So that's where that sort of came from.
So in that chapter we have Abraham going to Gerar.
Gerar.
And again he claims Sarah as his sister. And Abimelech, takes her. And he's warned in a dream that, you need to give her back.
Yep.
He confronts Abraham about this lie that him and his wife have told, and basically gives her back and gives some other things as well. And yeah, that's pretty much that.
It is. Yeah.
The people are healed as well.
Yes.
They were
huge.
all barren, and maybe other plagues, we don't know.
Maybe, right.
That was the main thing, that no one could have children while they had Sarah.
Yeah. Yep. She got on that, Miss Wanda.
So there were a couple things. One thing, it is amazing to me that Sarah was so beautiful, even as old as she was, that these kings still wanted her like this. I mean, because you think about it, she was a very old woman, and usually you don't worry about that kind of stuff. If somebody's like nowadays, if they might be 20s, 30s, something like that, pushing it at 40. But as old as she was, there was a concern that a king was going to want to take her as his wife. That's amazing. And I never thought about that. But the other thing, the biggest thing is that why is Abram still lying? And why is he still willing to let his wife be taken by some other man to save his own skin? I'm just amazed that the same man that could take his 318 men and go out to forge against a king that has taken a whole city and taken, other kingdoms or whatever, but you still are willing to, I'm afraid for my life, and I'm going to let this man take my wife? What is that? Like, I don't know. That to me is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. And that, like, as faithful as he was, you didn't think the promise has not been fulfilled yet. You don't have the son that you're supposed to have. How is it that you think that if this king, or that if he kills you, that you're going to fulfill the promise? So obviously you're going to live. Why are you lying?
Yeah. And it's supposed to happen.
And it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So you've no reason not to be honest at this point, because he can't kill you because the promise is not fulfilled. That's all for me. I'm just, I said Abraham, he's
Do we need to say
different.
anything else? I mean,
Well, we did talk about in the episode that it may not be her beauty anymore,
We did.
but the fact that Abraham is powerful
right.
and they may want to take her to build an alliance.
Okay.
Possibly. That was just
That
a
is an
theory.
option.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Just a
it
theory.
then.
But still, if I'm that powerful, why am I letting you take my wife?
Exactly.
Right.
Either, no matter what scenario or like story you try to put as his reason, it's like, it's still not making sense.
No.
Because you have a promise.
Right. And if your fear is for your life, it makes no sense. And that you're willing to risk your life in other situations, but when it gets to your wife, you're willing to hand her over every time without pause.
Yep.
They just handing over women. Like, just take her.
Risk it off a lot.
Right.
Take her.
Like,
Oh,
I'm
sir, you
confused.
to me here.
Oh, no.
I'm confused.
Oh man. Okay. I don't know what
that
to
is
say
the
now.
main thing. Actually no. Abimelech's innocence,
Innocent.
his blamelessness was stuck out to me because he's taking people's sisters. I think you said that. You were like, I can take a sister, but I
can't take a
a
wife.
wife. I can have as many as I want, but I'm blameless.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I mean, he is in his culture, in his like, in their world. This isn't a bad thing to collect wives, and this is a Chris thing where what is a sin, or are people being given grace for their cultures and how things operate in their group? Because with Tamar, I was like, she ain't part of this. She can do whatever she wants.
Right.
And you were like, no, she can't, because sin is sin.
Sin is sin. Yeah. It's not sin because a certain group of people did it. It's still sin.
Yeah, because you don't believe it doesn't mean it's not sin.
Adam and Eve weren't part of this group that we're looking at. They still sinned. So did Cain and Abel.
They sinned because they knew good and evil, or they sinned because they knew what they weren't supposed to do and did it. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But this is I'm saying they don't know that taking people's sisters is wrong. So is it sin? Because he's like, wait a minute, I didn't know it was a wife. I know taking wives are wrong. I took a sister.
And what's funny is as I was listening to the chapter again, I think it was even the Lord who said, I have kept you from sinning against me.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you mean that just this particular sin, Lord? Or do you mean like
sinning in general?
In general?
Yeah.
Because I have kept you from sinning against me. When I heard that, I was like, I can take it one of two ways. That nothing else that he has done has been sin. Or that I have kept you from doing this particular sin.
That's what I was thinking when I that it was this particular sin.
And that's how I want to take it, as this. I have kept you from doing this particular sin against me. Not that everything else you did is right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, did he really take her, or was she more, was just
So
was she kicking and screaming like
commentary I read, and I think I read the snippet in the episode, and it reads something to the fact of this is the second time that Sarah was abducted.
Oh, okay. So sort of like the movie where he says, okay, so they're gonna come in the room and Abraham's prepping her. We're gonna go here and he's gonna take you. And you're gonna tell him that you're my sister. That's how we're gonna play the story.
When I read that, I was like, man, that puts it in a different light. So I don't know.
It seems willingly going though, because they agreed. She agrees. I don't know how much of a choice she has. Like, she has to agree because that's what her husband is telling her. But he says, she told me.
He does.
That was my brother.
Yep.
And he told me that was his sister. So there's she's cooperating.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think they say that this started a long time ago. I wonder if it started in Egypt.
Yeah. It may have started as soon as they left their land. Like, okay, we're going into foreign territory. These are the rules.
Right.
Right.
Because I don't want them to kill me. I don't care what they do to you.
Basically.
I don't want them to kill me.
Well, they're not going to kill you, but You are going to have to live as his wife.
So
This could be the 5th, 6th time for all we know.
it could be.
Right.
The way he's saying this was our agreement makes it sound like everywhere we go, when we meet new people, I just introduce her as my sister.
As my sister.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So I think I need to go on this, right? Give her back chapter 20. The only thing that I really have, well, that's not true. The end, I think, is very important. And the fact, I think this is the first time that Abraham is called a prophet. We talked about that in the episode. And so we had to go back and look at things that occurred leading up to chapter 20 that would sort of lend themselves to Abraham being a prophet. And then I think that not King Che, but that Abimelech was really nice to Abraham is because he needed Abraham to pray for him to get, you know, the plague,
Yeah.
the closing of the wombs off of his people, and then to go along with that, the fact that this was not a short period of time because there was a recognition that the Lord had closed up wombs, so there were no babies being born. It sounds like until Abimelech gives Abraham back his wife, and Abraham prays for them. So I think that's my big takeaway. I don't know whether that's 1 or 3. I think they all fit together, but that's where I am. All right. Chapter 21. We had a baby, it's a boy.
Yeah. Isaac is born. He's circumcised. Ishmael laughs at him. Sarah gets mad. They get kicked out again. And then randomly, we have that peace treaty with Abimelech and Abraham.
Yeah. Yep. We had a baby, it's a boy. I think you have to go with the whole idea that the promise has been fulfilled, and it is that the Lord visited Sarah at the time that he had said a year later. And the joy that Sarah has at the fact that she now has a son, even to the point of what she talks about being laughed at. And we brought up, are they laughing sort of with her, or are they laughing at her because she's at such an age having to deal with a son who was just born? So that's what's big and sticks out to me. What you got, Wanda?
Just again, the promise being fulfilled, and then God's promise to Hagar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was big. That even with all that she's been through, there's also a promise for her as well.
Yep.
And that's important.
Yeah. And this is a repeated promise. So similar to Abraham, who was given a promise and kind of seems like he's forgetting. When she's down and she's like, I'm going to put my son over here, she has at this point forgotten, but she's calling out to the Lord.
Right.
Or, calling out to
Actually,
the Lord.
yeah, I think
Right.
she is.
Right.
But the Lord doesn't.
The Lord hears
Yeah.
Ishmael.
Right.
Right.
But I thought it was interesting that it seems like she forgot, similar to how Abraham keeps not remembering.
Yeah.
But my thing was the Abimelech seeing that God is with Abraham and everything, and wanting to be a part of it, like wanting to be a part of that with him. And it reminded me of Joseph and how many times it was like, and God was with him, and God was with him, and God was with him. And we kept saying, well, how do people know that God is with him?
Right.
But everything that he did was fruitful. Everything that he did came out well, or was like better than they've ever seen. So there's something about Abraham that others are noticing, even outside of the closing of the womb and being able to pray for them and heal everybody. There's something still that he's like, God is with him in all that you do. So he's seeing something else too now that they're living amongst them.
Right. Yeah. Good one. Good one. We're getting close to the end here. Chapter 22. The Akedah. Binding of Isaac.
Yeah. 22 is, like you said, the sacrifice of Isaac, supposed sacrifice, the whole journey of him getting him there, tying him up, almost killing him, but then God provides. And the Lord will provide, or Jehovah Jireh, which is not written in there. But maybe that's what it is in the
It's
different-
probably what it
yeah,
is
what it's
in
written as. But yeah, the Lord will provide in our language. And what I noticed in that chapter was this was to me the first time where I really saw Abraham's faith. Because before this, it just felt like I know what you're saying, and you know, like it didn't feel as real until it was like, oh, you're willing to give up your son,
Yeah.
and to say we're gonna go worship and we will be back. That stood out to me a lot because I don't know, it kind of gives you chills. Like,
Yeah.
you really gonna do this? Like, you really believe that much? And I don't know, like I would aspire to have that kind of faith,
Right.
like to be able to give up the thing that you waited for so long for, just in believing that God is going to give it back to you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And even that we talk about it being a burnt offering, like there would be nothing to raise up.
Right.
But you are even believing that these ashes could be put back together.
Right. Somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. What you got, Wanda?
I mean, just like the same as Moyo, just that Abraham would be willing to, that he has enough faith and that he's willing to sacrifice his son, the son that he's waited so long for, that the promise is sort of tied to, that he's willing to give his son up. That's a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, this is the pinnacle of Abram's entire progression. And so to see that he ends up here, I agree with you, Moyo, is refreshing. Because when we've talked about it even today, we've seen the ups, he leaves, we've seen the downs, he's worried about being killed, we've seen the ups, right? And then we've seen the downs. And here is like, seems to be, and what we would expect to be the final ultimate up for Abraham, that he wholeheartedly believes. And I think it's in Hebrews where it's like, where he was about it for all in it's, I'm paraphrasing, it says like, for all intensive purposes, Isaac was dead and was returned to him. And I think that's talking to the fact that, yeah, Abram was really intent on carrying out what the Lord said. So the fact that he didn't have to do it, that the Lord provided a ram in a bush, is basically Isaac being returned to him. So, yeah, it's hard to come away with anything other than that moment being what leaves the biggest impression from that chapter. And it's not just, it's, to me, and we talked about this a little bit in the episode, it's the build up, all the excruciating detail. It took the wood, he put the wood on the donkey, he laid down the wood and bound Isaac and laid Isaac on the wood, and raised the knife above his head. All of those details, I think, add to the fact of, one, Abram's intent to carry this out. Two, it read to me like when things are moving in slow motion, because it's something that you have to do, and it's something that's causing some angst. So you remember every excruciating detail about it. So I don't know. That's my take. Chapter 23. It's so hard to say goodbye.
Yeah. So Sarah dies at the age of 127. Actually, we already did a summary at the beginning, but yeah. He gets Abraham negotiates for land. He gets it. He buries his wife.
Oh man.
Or he does not negotiate.
No,
He
right.
asks for. He pays for.
Yeah.
He buys.
Basically.
He buys land.
Yeah. So Moyo, what stands out to you?
I just thought it was funny when the guy was like, "Oh, what is 400 shekels between me and you?" Like, that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
And Abraham was like, "Pocket change, here you go."
There you go. I just got 1,000 from your boy.
Yeah.
Here you go. Oh man. What stands out to you in that one?
I mean, I just thought it was, just sad the end to all of this, sort of, that Sarah's now gone and Abraham is
Still moving around here
Yeah.
somehow. Yeah. I think for me, what stands out And we've been told you this is my last hurrah. We've been talking about Abraham, how he cares or doesn't care for the women in his life.
For the people listening, I roll my eyes real hard.
Yes, you did. That's why I started laughing because I couldn't contain it. Wanda turns her head like, "Oh, here you go," and then it was like, "Whatever." But the fact that he mourned and wept for her, and all that that entails, right? And I think we talked about it in the episode that while it seems like it's this really succinct 2, 3 words, um, but it really has to do with, the whole cutting of hair, sackcloth and ashes, you know, mourners, all of those things that come along with being distraught and being sad. I think it shows us he does care as much as Lot. We can debate that, but he does care about her. And now that she's gone, he's really upset about it. Um, so that's one thing that sticks out to me from that chapter. Um, and then I think one other thing that I think we should mention is that this is the first time that Abraham actually owns part of the land that the Lord has promised him.
Yeah.
Right. So that's big. It's come through these means, and but Abraham in the end of it, and this is made at the business center, right at the gate, with Ephraim, right? I'm buying this land from you. And Ephraim's like, yes, in front of his children and all the people who were there. So this is Abraham's land. And one more tidbit to throw out, I think is important, is that we actually get the number of years for matriarch. And I think we said in the episode and from the reading that we had that this wasn't done for anyone else, any other matriarch. That Sarah is the only one that gets the number of years that she lived, recorded in scripture. All right. So that's our recap for each of the chapters. Got 2 questions, and we'll each answer them. What did we learn about Abraham? So we're basically going to summarize all this stuff that we talked about. What did we learn about Abraham? Whomever wants to go first.
Abraham is just a man. He's just a man, but at the end of it, I think he has a lot of faith. And I don't know if the faith is based on his journey or if he already had it from the beginning. Mm-hmm. But either way, I think it's something that we all can aspire to have. Like the ending faith. The ending.
Yeah, the end. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, so the end is what we aspire to, but I think what we also can't separate ourselves from all the peaks and valleys.
It's the journey, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think we'll all have those. One?
I think that Abraham had the relationship that he had with God.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's something to me to aspire to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That you would have that type of relationship with God, that he would, show you things and show you in detail things, tell you things that he's going to do, his plans,
Mm-hmm.
and that you can like talk with him, like to sort of bargain. Because I never, we pray and we ask God, please do this or whatever, or I'll do this, I promise, but not like, well, if you do this, and then, well, that whole bartering situation. That was something to me that's sort of remarkable, that you would be able to do that
Yeah.
with God.
Yeah.
So his relationship with God to me was awesome.
What did I learn about Abraham? I learned that he is a man with a particular set of skills.
Didn't care
I
about his
learned
wife.
that he's a complicated man. 2 different references. Let me know if you got them.
I only caught one, but okay.
But I think, and this really didn't hit me until you mentioned it, Moyo, but Abraham was all around. He was just an all around man who garnered a lot of cachet because of what the Lord was doing in his life. Um, so yeah, that's what I learned about him. I learned about him, and I definitely agree with his progression to what we talked about in chapter 22 being the pinnacle of that progression. But I also learned about him in terms of how we should potentially look at ourselves, how we should look at ourselves in terms of, and this is one of the things that I've always had an issue with. It's like, man, they call it righteous. They should be this. But it's not that simple. It's not that straightforward, which I think is what you were saying. He's just a person.
Mm.
So the next question that we have is, what did we learn about the Lord? You want to go first to someone?
Well, we saw the Lord's patience,
Uh-huh.
um, and we saw, to me, also the Lord's faithfulness, that he took Abraham through this journey
Mm-hmm.
of all the things that he went through, leaving his land and going into other kingdoms and going up against kings to get, going up against the king to get Lot back to rescue him. Just, I think that God was just, faithful and even and patient, even with, Abraham and Sarah not believing, or not even not believing, but just having doubts,
Mm-hmm.
the situation with Hagar, how he um, came to her and and was able to give her comfort, and in her situation,
Mm-hmm.
and the promise for her son. So I think all of that was just showing God's patience and his care
Right.
for them.
Okay.
Mm.
Lynn?
For me, I don't know if I learned it, but it was magnified that God is just and he
Mhm.
sees everyone.
Yeah.
Right? So you have him seeing Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
even though she felt she was barren, she couldn't do these things, but at the end of the day, he still provided for her.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Abraham, same with Hagar and
Mhm.
Ishmael.
Mhm.
Everybody in the story, Lot, like
Yeah, even
Lot,
Lot.
even though we feel like, I feel like he has daddy issues, he still has, God is still his father who was
Mhm.
seeing him through everything that he
Mhm.
went through. And even those that um interact with Abraham, they're being seen as well. It's not always good to
Right.
them, but then they're able to see that, oh, there's a God who can do these things.
Right.
So the Pharaoh, he
Mhm.
was seen by God. It might not have been how he wanted to be seen, but he was seen. And same with Abimelech. They were seen by God, and God spoke to Abimelech. We're not sure how Pharaoh interacted with God, but
Right.
there was something there that allowed them to see that there is a God who's monitoring and noticing things.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So for me, what did we learn about the Lord is how, for me, it was how he embodies all of these names that we get,
Mm-hmm.
because we've gotten um
The Lord
all,
Most High.
yeah, the Lord Almighty, God Almighty, El Shaddai, God Most High, El Elyon, to what you just said, Moyo, the Lord who sees, the Roi. We see this God whose justice is, I can say it this way, presumed on in the negotiation, if we want to call it that, that Abraham has with him. Um, this just God who is also called upon by Abimelech. So I think that in this chapter, we see these names of God, and we see this character that goes along with these names as we see God working through Abraham, and having to deal with all of these people that he's sojourning with. So much like you're saying, he sees all of them, but I think his character is also made plain to all of them all along the way, and we see that in what he's called as we go through. It's so cool. Good. Good. All right. Final thoughts?
Random thing I've been thinking because it finally came to my head. It's called the Mandela effect. When you remember things
Oh,
different
okay.
than what they were. Yeah, I
Huh.
know, random, but it was in my head, and I was like, I gotta say
I
it. I
gotta
gotta
say
say
it. I
it.
gotta get it out.
It's gonna be
It's gotta
stuck in
come
my
out.
head forever.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that wraps it up for season 4. Signing off. Next season, I think we're coming back and continuing in Genesis. That's the current plan.
Yes.
Um, I don't know about y'all, but one of the things I like about going through the chapters individually and then having this wrap up is you get to see all of the things that you've learned throughout the season.
Yeah.
So hopefully you all who are watching can pick up on that same thing, because as we're talking about them, hopefully particularly if you've watched us throughout the season, you're also picking up on, oh yeah, they did say that. Oh yeah, I remember this. Or we're saying things that you're thinking because you've been in depth in the study with us.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy going through these. These are, I don't know if I said it out loud before, but doing these recaps are some of my favorite episodes. Um, One other thing that we always like to do is offer an invitation. So this entire episode, and we wrapped it up with what did we learn about the Lord, and on this whole path that we've gone so far, right? From Genesis 1 through 11, now 12 through 23. Then we'll do 24 through 36, and we've already done 37 through 50. But this really is about a people that the Lord has created, a people that have fallen away from the Lord, and then the Lord working through these same people such that he can redeem everyone back into himself. And so we're starting to see this with Abraham. And I think, as we pointed out, the pinnacle of that and the binding of Isaac is where we see Abraham's faith and the fact that the Lord says, now I know that you will not withhold your son from me. Right? Like, now I know that you esteem me higher than anything else. I know that you have a faith, that you are willing to go to the extremes, knowing that I will stand on what I have promised, and and you trust me as you do. And so with that, right, the Lord's doing the same thing when it comes to Jesus. Jesus is the one who is the ultimate fulfillment of the method that the Lord is using to redeem us unto himself. Jesus comes through this people that is going to come from Abraham. We've got some more generations to go. Jesus is going to come from the tribe of Judah, who we learn about in Genesis chapters 37 through 50. And even when you look at that, you see the growth of Judah happening. But it's all to the point of the Lord calling Abraham out, to the point of getting this tribe of Judah and these people of Israel to be his people, such that, as was done in the call of Genesis chapter 12, that he may be a blessing, that by him, through Abraham, all nations of all the earth will be blessed. And we find that none other than Jesus. And so, with that blessing and how we've been blessed, what does that mean for us? Is that whoever would believe in Jesus, whoever would trust in Jesus, just as Abram trusted in the Lord and it was counted to him as righteousness, if you will believe in Jesus, then that will be counted to you as righteousness, and you are no longer worried about the wrath of God, which is promised to come if you go and read the Revelation. What do we need to believe about Jesus? We need to believe that he died on the cross for our sins, that he was buried, and he was raised on the third day. If you believe that of Jesus, then you are a believer. You are saved. You are justified. You are righteous. You are just like Abraham, just like Noah. You are one who is counted among those with the Lord. And then if you believe that, and we pray that you do, the next thing to do is get disciples. So belong to a Bible believing, healthy church, where you can have some community and have some folks that you can grow with, learn with, study with, much like we do here. So if you believe, we're happy for you. We're celebrating with you. As usual, we like to say if you have any questions, please let us know. Drop DMs or whatever, comments or however, whatever they are. And we'll do our best to get back to you and answer those questions. But what we really want, and one of the reasons we do this, is so that you might believe. We also do it for our own edification, our own building, our own knowledge. But we want to edify the body of Christ and inform others about who this Jesus is. All right. So with that, I think we'll sign off for the season.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys soon. Appreciate you checking in. And we out of here. Deuces.